Hello everyone, it's Bertie here. I'm in London today to see Bossa Studios and their new game, Worlds Adrift, in which is an exploration game about making our own spaceships, flying craft, and flying around big, vast worlds with friends and possibly blowing up other people's ships or smashing them, with physics going crazy and all that kind of thing. I'm being shown around the world today by this lovely man to my left. To my right. Sorry, please introduce yourself.
So I'm Luke, I'm a designer at Bossa Studios and the designer on Worlds Adrift.
So what are we seeing here? What's happening here?
So we're basically flying around this huge shattered world, floating islands, that basically housed civilizations in the past, and you are in a new dawn of exploration. You know no one from the past or anything like that. You're basically on these islands and you hunt for lost technology, you salvage resources, and you build your own skyship.
Okay.
That is capable of basically exploring this huge, vast, seamless world. Every island you can see, every point of interest you can fly to. There's no loading screens, there's nothing like that. And there'll be sort of, as you start the game, you'll have a simple sailboat. So you won't be able to sort of traverse the many storms and kind of weather barriers that basically split the world up. And it's sort of the main, goal to kind of open the world up is to go to these islands, find the ruins, find the technology that was lost, and upgrade and build up your kind of character equipment or your capabilities of ship. And then you'll be able to pass through these things and onto sort of new regions of the world, like the desert and the ice sort of areas, and and on to newer and better things kind of thing.
Okay, so all this world, because the big thing at the moment is No Man's Sky, obviously, and this procedurally generated infiniteness. What's happening here? Is this world already exist, or is it being generated? And then
so it's kind of built and split up almost semi manually. Now, actually, the islands you're kind of seeing here are not procedure generated; they're actually handcrafted. The plan is to have a mix, these kind of handcrafted worlds mixed with kind of procedural ones to fill out the numbers, because this world can essentially expand as more and more players kind of join, because basically every player kind of per geographical region, say America or something, is actually all in one server.
Right, okay.
So it's all completely networked multiplayer, physics, everything.
So is there any cap on how many people could be a part of my European realm, or it could be?
No, Europe is one server.
Fantastic.
And the way the world is actually laid out, all we have to do is stitch on a new region of the world and bring in more islands if there's more players. We have a kind of player density we want. We want this sort of sense of sort of unknown and mystery, and not knowing who's out there and what players are there and stuff like that, because it's a very sort of free-form thing and you can go kind of wherever you want. It kind of goes back to, in the early days of kind of playing World of Warcraft, those servers were kind of little islands, Everyone kind of knew people, you knew who the big bad guild were and stuff like that, and there was kind of little stories would play up from that. And that's a big part of what we want to do with this. You are on one server. The server technology we're using, which is Spatial OS, actually everything you do to an island or anything like that, crash a ship, something like that, it all persists. It remembers it. And so if you go to an island and you sort of decimate, you cut down the trees, the stuff that needs the wildlife to live, that island will become sort of like a wasteland. You can see sometimes you can see creatures flying around. There's some manta rays up there. The creatures are not like traditional MMOs. They're not spawned in and have a patrol path. They're actually in the world. They'll be exploring. They'll migrate from island to island. They'll look for food. They'll mate. The only time that a new creature is spawned into the world is actually when it's birthed by another creature that was pregnant.
Does that mean we'll see animals mating?
Yes. Yeah. Occasionally we've been showing it off, and we've had to, obviously, shy away from just give them some privacy. And they'll sort of have their they'll hunt around our search and stuff like that.
So this is so we're flying around in some kind of god mode now.
Yeah, this is our dev spectator cam thing.
So what happens when? How does the game start? How does it all?
Well, if you see Herb kind of pull up to the manta rays there. If you see Herb kind of pull up to an island to his right, you'll see the character I'm actually playing as, and we've just been flying around for several kilometers and stuff like that, and this is the scale of the world we want. So he can just pull up here.
Okay, so I'm seeing this, you won't be able to see this, but I'm seeing this on the screen next to me.
And then there's me
you're playing
as a character here.
Waving your arm around there, looking around at your feet.
And I can just jump and start to, explore.
So this is the big thing, this kind of grappling hook is like one of the main...
So that's, the big thing with us, there's no like stats or anything like that in the game. Everything is sort of like network kind of physics. So, chopping trees and stuff down, you can sort of cut off their branches. That's kind of the resource gathering is meant to be as interesting as we can kind of make it. So, if you were to collapse a tree on yourself, it would do damage. And you can sort of like, it just changes how sort of things can play out.
So when someone comes into the game for the first time, will they be here, like on their own little floating
islands? You'll essentially be placed on an appropriate island, and then you can kind of start to...
And will you be near anyone else, or is it going to take a little while before you find someone else?
The plan is, the way we expand the world is so there is like a player density sort of level we want. There could be, the idea is you have your own little world, like island thing, and you can actually just then go out and look onto the horizon and kind of just... everything you can see there, you can see the ruins in the distance there, and you don't know what's up there. Is it another player? Is it like just a dangerous amount of creatures? It's that kind of freedom we want. There's no like stats or kind of like leveling in this game. Your actual progression is determined by the equipment you have.
So how would you get off that island? Floating.
So we'll be able to show you kind of like the shipbuilding and stuff later. I actually have some equipment, that includes a glider, which is something that I might have found like an ancient technology in order to build, and that gives me some maneuverability. But obviously, I'm always going down, so I can't actually gain any altitude with this sort of thing. And if I try to get through a storm or something like that, it's just going to throw me aside because I'm a lightweight little human person.
So you mentioned that there's no statistics, no kind of saved progression data necessarily for your character. What happens if you get killed?
So dying, you kind of have like an inventory, and that basically can be lost if you like die, like placed somewhere. Then your players can come along and loot it again, or you can sort of find where you died and gain all your stuff back. But we kind of when you learn technologies to be able to craft stuff, that always persists.
Yeah.
So you always kind of retain what you're able to build.
Okay.
So and the actual resource gathering is relatively simple. We don't have you like foraging for food and stuff. It's not really where we want the focus of the game to be. It's all about sort of like building, these crafts and making your character capable of exploring the world. But
okay, so we've started on an island. We've jumped off. We've flown away. What's our next?
So I don't know if we want to move on to the next kind of like section thing. Yeah, because we can basically have you jump in now and start to play. We'll call that the intro or something.
Okay, so I'm in. I'm at the controls.
So yep, you've jumped in the game now, and it's just traditional kind of WASD sort of movement things. Okay. To jump. What you're using now is your kind of like your salvage tool. If you go up to that tree there, you can charge it up. And when you get closer, then when it's charged, we're able to...
Well, that was just bad.
That was the thing that might come back. There you go. You can just slice off the branch there. Okay, now, the kind of big main traversal tool is on right-click. As you can see, you've already got it up there. So if you let go, it'll attach to that point. You can click to where your mouse is pointing, but if you actually hold down a right mouse, you're able to sort of attach it exactly where you want. It's right-click to detach it as well.
How do I...
And so if you hold Shift, you'll basically reel in. And then Control will slacken it. And this is basically, using that kind of combination of stuff. When you hold Shift, you'll be able to gain some momentum and speed and stuff like that. Oops. And then when you've got some, you can just right-click to let go and sort of basically throw yourself through the world. So you see we've kind of at this huge ancient tower, and you can imagine this would have some sort of technologies that you could find. And this is like our approach to how we kind of want the game not to be reliant on stats. Yeah. So you don't upgrade your grappling hook in any way. It doesn't get stronger or increase in length. Oh yeah, you'll see when you can attach, because there'll be the little rotating sort of icon thing when you're in range. It's like 50 meters or so. Oh, you've attached just there.
Whoops. Okay, it takes a bit of getting used to.
So yeah, this will take practice. It's we want a lot of the things, rather than you gaining levels and stats, you're kind of gaining mechanics and and sort of like equipment.
Kind of Zelda-y.
Yeah. So I mean, so this thing, if you so this does take a little bit of practice, but like eventually you're able to sort of start doing little pirouettes in the sky and things like that. And this is, it's something you actually have to just practice, and that's where we want the game to be sort of measured by skill.
Okay.
Someone who's particularly good at this is going to be able to traverse the world and fling themselves off of ships and be a lot more dangerous. So if you try to hit that one, there you go, just about. And you'll see on the back, on your back, for example, you've got like a little backpack, which is your like hang glider.
Okay.
And again, as I said before, this is a technology that you wouldn't start the game with, but you might find at some point, like in your journeys and stuff. And that's done like if you find yourself in the air and you just press spacebar.
So we have this this rope from the get-go.
This is like the default sort of equipment. We want that. We talk about being able to sort of see an island and travel there. This is sort of an aspect of that freedom of movement. Just being able to just attach to anything and sort of fling yourself around this world, with friends, enemies, all that kind of stuff. And again, it's all like everything in the game. It's all physics based. Right now, we haven't balanced the the impact sort of damage. You might just almost splat. So if you swing too hard into a wall, you're going to like knock yourself out and stuff like that. And this is all physics, inertia, stuff like that. So if an explosion was to go off near you, it would kind of fling your character out and stuff like that.
Okay, I've got a feeling this is going to take me.
So and this is the idea. You are free to explore these like huge spaces, and you don't quite know what could be up there or what could be hidden away and stuff like that. But we can when you've got yourself a little practice there, we can actually move on to how you'll be traversing the world, which is through shipbuilding. Okay,
so here we are. I'm just having a look through my inventory there. We're going to try some shipbuilding.
Yeah, so we're now like over the other side of the storm wall, which is a huge weather barrier. And I just got a lamp behind you by a manta ray. We're in like a more arid region of the world, so look out for him. He's again, the creatures are all physics-based. Their movement, their attacks.
He's a bit aggressive.
So they are the predators of the world. You get too close to them, and they will basically try to hit you like they did to me there. And I'm now sort of flailing around.
So I've attached myself to the manta.
So again, they are physical objects, and you can attach anything. But he'll drag you around if you do actually attach a rope to them. So there's an alternate method of transport by using the manta rays there.
Can I zap him with my?
So right in this kind of early version of the game, our tool doesn't quite do that yet. But the plan is that yes, it will be able to.
So we've come across a ship here floating in there.
So yeah, this is a docked ship. It's kind of half built, so you can see we've got some parts around here. So anything that you build for your character is kind of inventory based.
Yeah.
As you can see there, you've got some wood on the right there. And that's where you'll be able to construct like your weapons, little tools and stuff like that, and clothes, all that kind of stuff. Anything that you build for like ships and other like larger structures is actually placed as a physical object in the world. And you actually use the tool on 2 to pick that stuff up.
Okay.
You'll see it should have a blue highlight. If you kind of highlight over this engine, if you click, and if you just click there, you'll just drop it.
Okay.
But
I can.
So that will actually affix it to the ship, and you are free to place this wherever you want.
Is that not a good place?
So that's probably fine, but there are we don't have it at the level of Kerbal Space Program where you can just completely make a disaster ship that will just say you just put an upside down mast on there, and you are basically free to put stuff wherever you want. So if you were to put more engines on one side, or mid fight you were to lose an engine, your ship would start to list to one side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So all of these objects are kind of physical. So if I attach my rope to it and then pull it, this mast, it will stuff will collapse and they will have weight and stuff like that. And the materials you've been sort of gathering, they all have physical properties. They all have weight as well. So if you see over at the other side, there's an engine that is actually looks like it's made out of gold, and that's because it basically is.
Oh wow. It's just
So when you actually start crafting stuff, you choose the components and where they sort of what they're made out of.
Yeah.
In this case, gold, very heavy. So your ship, has a particular amount it can weigh, and it doesn't really make it for like a particularly heavy armored thing, purely because gold is pretty soft.
So this this thing over here on the platform, what's this?
So this is basically where you
I
sort
see.
of build your ship, and we'll show you later, like the process of
Whoa.
and that's a manta ray getting angry with us.
That is rude.
Again, that's all it's very much a physics-driven game. So the speed and the weight of a manta ray, so like kind of like a child one is not going to hit you as hard, but
Yeah.
the bigger ones are going to have more weight to them. So you can if you jump on the ship, you can get some revenge if you can man the cannon. I can finish constructing our little ship here. And see if you can see any. And you can, if you wanted to, just like sort of shoot at the panels on our own ship and sort of break those off.
I'm gonna get my own.
So you
back
got
on
you
one
got
of
to
these.
again because you're free to play stuff whatever you want. Placing cannons where they where they're gonna sort of blow off your own parts is probably not a good idea. And again, those cannonballs are all physical, so you'll see them sort of bouncing around, and if you would hit a creature, they would get flung by that
There we go.
force.
I got it.
If I have just about got the ship up and running.
I'm not being very helpful. Am I? Okay, here we go.
It's fine, it's fine. We'll say we're built for now. If you come here, you got like the crew respawners, and this is like about the extent of the ship ownership. So anything you build, it's a physical object in the world. So if we weren't to attach ourselves, you can see your name or your character's name is on it there.
Okay.
And that means you can kind of board the ship, and you can kind of basically see who owns it, really.
Right.
But you're free to just jump on the helm
Okay.
if you so choose.
That's this here.
Yep, that it is.
Okay.
And basically, the mouse is like the pitch and tilt.
Whoa,
and we've
there.
seemed to
Okay.
have like the mast, I think, is trapped on something. So the ship basically. You try and hit S to get the ship in reverse a little bit, although we have lost a few parts and are now getting attacked by manta rays.
Yeah,
So
is that? Well, maybe I shouldn't have shot it with the cannon. Maybe
so they don't like the sound of ship engines, so you have to be kind
Oh, I
of
see.
wary what islands you land on, because they will start to tear your ship apart. So we've lost one side of the all our engines.
Okay.
So what you'll find is the ship probably won't control as nicely
No,
as you'd
it's
like.
it's a little tricky to control. I blame that manta ray.
Hang on, I think we're redocking on the shipyard, so we can fix the ship up. It's fine.
Okay.
Let's get rid of.
So we're on our way back on.
So there we go. We've redocked now, and we can start
Let's go
to take a
see-
view of the damage that was done.
Yeah.
So we lost a few parts.
So we need. Oh, let's get rid of that.
So that thing
Whoa.
is whoa, and I just got slapped. So let's see if we can
They
actually.
are not helpful.
They're still a little bit angry at the ship, it seems. Let's see if I can actually.
Okay, shot it.
Okay.
So this mast that's fallen down. Can we do anything with
I
that?
think it's destroyed, so we might be able to pick it up. But we might be able to just yank it off the ship using the ropes. There we go. So I just pulled it off the ship. So,
Okay.
that's a little bit of debris cleaning there. That's kind of how the physics sort of operates there. Certain things happen that you might need to deal with, just as an emergent aspect of physics. I'm just getting absolutely battered at the moment.
There are a few of them now.
Let me build some extra engines and wings.
Oh, I can't. Maybe we should attach another mast.
Whoa.
So I can't get on top now. Okay.
So if I, here we go. Wing. Engine. Can I craft another one?
Oops, just kicked that mast over. Whoosh. Okay. Don't worry, I'll help.
That's the destroyed mast. Hang on, I'll put this in a area where you
Aha.
can actually click it. There you go. And you can grab that, stick it on the deck.
Just pop that in there.
So you're kind of like responsible for making your ship sort of like easier to get on and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's that. Yeah.
So now if you jump on the helm again, I'm just getting thrown around by manta rays down here.
Okay. That one. There we go.
So put into neutral using W. You can see the little crank on the right-hand side.
Neutral hitting.
So just press W and you'll sort of, put it into the red. Don't put it full speed forward because we're going to go into these trees.
Okay.
Then A to D you'll turn.
Oh, I see.
And spacebar will kind of increase the altitude of the ship, and control will decrease the altitude. And you can see there's we have some ship instruments, and these are technology that we would have found. You didn't gain access to them straight away.
Yeah.
So we've got an artificial horizon, speedometer, and a compass and stuff like that.
Not what I want to see. There we go.
So you can probably crank it now, then start to pull back and try to fly our way out of this island here.
Not like that.
I'll see if I can keep the manta rays at bay.
Oh.
So wait,
you're
that's
shooting.
firing the cannon, yeah.
Okay. Here we go. I've got this.
And so if we think that our ship is good enough, we can basically, if you look to your left, might want to press spacebar a little bit because that's getting awfully close. Let's hope our wings can clear those trees. We're good. So if you look off to the left, we've got the storm wall, and this is basically the weather barriers. So if you press A, you'll start to turn the ship. There you go. And again, the ships are kind of all physical, so they'll be pushed around by wind and stuff like that. So you can see the artificial horizon, it tells you your sort of general orientation. We're flying into a cloud at the moment, so visibility is poor. You can see there's the island on the left there, and then it's almost pretty much just in front of us. Just beyond this sort of fog.
It's like a giant beam.
And so a big part of it is this kind of scale of the world. So nothing is faked. If something is kilometers long or kilometers away, it actually is. So we're basically flying into this. If you hold right mouse and look up, you can kind of see we're flying into this mile high.
We probably don't want to, do we?
Storm wall. Well, we're going to try and take it on and see if we can get through to the other side of the world, basically. And if you go off to the right a little bit, because we're kind of skirting along the outside of it. We want to go into it. We want to take it on, and you'll start to see the rain will come in, and you'll start to feel the kind of the ship getting kind of pulled in various ways. Again, we're, in the early stages, it's kind of our first sort of effects pass, so to speak, on all of this stuff. So, as things start to get a little bit darker, and the manta rays are still chasing
a bit
us.
Scary. I haven't even got a coat on.
So you can see there the ship will start to get pulled, and then the lightning will start. That'll be striking the ship, and you'll need to have basically be pretty quick at the repairs, or sort of have a ship that maybe is able to just punch through the wall as fast as possible, or something quite heavily armoured.
How are we doing? Where's our ship's health? How do we know how? Oh,
they're basically every part has its own health. So there goes
what was that? What did we lose?
We lost just a little bit of a metal pole there. The important thing is not to lose the engines.
Manta rays.
The manta rays are still not happy with us, but we're making a lot of noise, which they don't enjoy. So if you actually, if you jump off the helm and try to get our repairs on the go, I can kind of, I'll attempt to take over.
Okay, you take over. I'll just leave us listening to the.
If you press the one multiple times, you can turn on the repair mode of the tool.
Okay. So how do I know what to repair? So
it should highlight green if it's sort of damaged.
Okay. There's iron in the crate.
So you press E there. There you go.
Okay. Oh, there's a.
And then just press tab or escape to close that. I'm going to try and keep the ship as stable as possible at the moment. I'm not doing a good job of that.
We need to fix an engine or something? What do I...
So the engine's under the wing, so you might need to grapple down there. If you hold control to loosen the rope, there you go, and then see if you can keep our engines in tow and maybe keep those manta rays off of us. Whoa, or we just explode. Which is exactly what just happened. Oh wow, we're actually still sort of... and I think you missed that.
Okay, so now I'm flying.
So that was what we like to call
around
in development of games a bug.
Okay.
If you actually press escape and just hit respawn, and this is you can choose your respawner that you had on the crew. Yeah. And that'll basically plant you back on the ship. But you might have lost the your inventory. That probably flung and sunk with the fishes.
Okay.
So I won't be there anymore. But if I I'm died. I died then. Oh well.
So you're dead. Okay. So
I did just die. Yeah.
What do I need to? I need to try and
So if you
keep
could,
us.
yeah, we
I think
kind
the
of
ship's
need to
going
be
down here, Captain.
It's not doing great. We've still got our engines though,
Okay.
which is good.
Whoa.
And it's getting thrown about basically by the wind and stuff like that. So you kind of any crew who aren't aware basically get flung
Oh, okay.
from the ship.
So they need to grapple themselves onto the ship.
Yeah,
really?
essentially. And the weather types will be different. So this is like a traditional sort of like storm. There'll be
Okay.
like sandstorms and ice storms, and those will have sort of different requirements for you to sort of get
It's
through
like
them.
flying through the Bermuda Triangle.
Essentially, yes. These things, there'll be ship graveyards. Because of the persistence as well, you will actually just find sort of other player ships maybe just drifting. And if you want, you can kind of do the dangerous task of boarding that ship.
Wow.
And looting, who knows what kind of like stuff they have left over in there. So we just lost our mast. That's just tumbled off the side.
That's all right. We'll be more aerodynamic without that.
And there it gets
Whoa.
spun again. The way the physics works is the weight of the ship actually determines how much it's thrown about by the wind. So in that case, the ship is losing parts, so it's getting lighter and lighter.
There's a board in my face. Oh, I'm not even
So
sure
that was just, that was a panel getting blasted off there. So yeah, the ship will just be getting lighter and lighter, and so the wind is actually going to start throwing it about even more. I think this might be a lost cause at this point.
I'll give up on it.
So
Yes,
we've lost the one engine, and we're just basically now sort of lost in this storm. We can't quite, and what was that? So, yeah, it was one of the ship instruments that were gone. So now we don't quite know what direction we're heading in, or how much fuel we have, which is never a good thing. So if I can just, I can scuttle the ship if I don't want anyone to get access to our stuff. Did I just plant that bomb?
So you're trying to get rid of the spawns, is that? Or
No, I mean at this point we've got no engines. They've fallen, so you can kind of just let go of the helm now and just see what's left of the ship, which it's not very much.
we did.
I didn't do a
more
huge
stuff.
job at repairing it. So now we just we sort of accept our fate really. And this is when you'd be like, okay, that kind of we tried, and you kind of like, you'd learn and you'd have another go, but it's that sense of
when we lose a ship, how much do we lose? How long is it going to take us to?
So you could shortcut to the stuff that you could build on it, so all the instruments and stuff, but you will have to. There goes the last wing. So you will have to actually build it again, and there goes the helm. So now we're really done for. So at the moment you can kind of glide in the storms, but the idea eventually is that you'll probably get struck by lightning or something. You see all the parts just raining down from left over from our ship there. If there was an island down there as well, they would just like land on them and could actually be found by the players.
And what happens to us now? We fly until we die.
So yeah, I mean, essentially, you would fall to your death or whatever. You can make it to 9, you die. Then you can shortcut to that by if you just hit escape and go to respawn. Which probably wouldn't be an option in the game. And then hit like say nearby revival chamber, let's say. And this will basically plonk you in the nearest kind of island, like graveyard, so to speak.
Okay.
Although, there you go. So we were basically dumped in the closest one, and then you basically find your way out, and you don't know where you are. You're basically at this point you're shipwrecked. So you and your friends will be like, right, where the hell are we? Let's get out of here. And turns out we've ended up on a huge snowy mountain range, and so suddenly the environment's completely different, and now we can start maybe spend a while like hunting for resources and looking around this island.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the general loop. You are finding this equipment. You're just going on these kind of unknown adventures. You're taking stuff on in the world. You're probably going to die a few times. You might lose everything, but we can shortcut back to it and then
Will we ever lose kind of hours and days of progress? I mean, I can imagine people building quite elaborate ships, although at that point I suppose they'll be more experienced at the game, so they might not die.
Yeah, I mean, so it's basically just how much you want to risk, really. If you choose to just build smaller, lighter ships for exploration, if you start trying to build huge behemoths to explore the world in, then you do start to run the risk of for losing quite a lot, because you have all that stuff stored on it. But hopefully by that point you're able to kind of gauge, or you're good at getting through these barriers and stuff like that. But then of course the threat is players or creatures, and and how that sort of all comes about. But that's the kind of the danger of the world that we sort of want to
Fantastic. So so how far through? When are people going to be able to play this?
So we are running alphas, like sort of regularly. We've got another one coming up soon, and that's just worldsadrift.com. I'll have all the kind of sign-ups for that. And then actually what we've got still to show you is we talked about the sort of ship building. So we can actually show you how you can have complete control over the shape of your hull and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
So this is like a very sort of up-to-date build. It's like a new feature. We're still, as you know, we're still in heavy development. So if I construct a shipyard, which you might have seen
so we plonk one of those down.
Yep.
And we've crafted this from bits and bobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we found some metal and stuff like that. So now, a lovely placeholder art panel here actually gives us this sort of view. Now, anyone who's familiar with 3D modeling tools might sort of be familiar with this kind of setup. And basically, these are like sections of the ship, and you're able to pull these in various ways, and then start to curve these, that slightly smoother shape, like so. And then you're able to just extend parts out. Now this is all completely coder art, so it's it can get a little bit sort of unwieldy in terms of like visuals, but the functionality at the moment is what we're sort of working on. You can pull these sections in. And sort of block out your shape kind of relatively quickly, really. And you're kind of free to do quite a lot of things. And then I can go up here, start to build the deck section, pull those bits in.
You are very good at this.
It's actually very, very simple to use. We did definitely wanted to not sort of have, there are sort of, you can't break it as easily as you can in 3D modeling programs. You can pull these sections out and sort of build maybe a little cockpit or something like that you're going to have your thing in. And then you can just go a bit nuts really, and just I want these sections up here. Because we had trouble getting onto the ship, so I'm actually going to pull these sections out so I can grapple onto them. So that kind of thing is
so
really
is there any limit
to
the size apart from
the size will be limited by the kind of the level of technology your shipyard is at. But we still want you to be pretty generous at the start, so you can kind of sort of build all sorts of weird stuff.
And then presumably once you've kind of meshed out the
once you've done that, you'd put the sort of resources in for the for the decks, for the hull and frame and stuff. And it might not be the most glamorous looking ship, but it's mine. which is
so you need to put all the sides and things on the panels. And how do you do that? That's you pick up the bits
so that's all will be like a physical sort of thing. Basically this works how we showed it before. You're now free to place parts wherever you want. So this will take a couple of seconds to build. When it's done, it's now a physical object in the world.
Oh, I see.
You're able to just grapple onto it. See, that was a good idea to build the roof out like that, because now I have you might be like, okay, I'm going to have the helm here or over here or wherever you want, and sort of just go nuts really, and sort of start to sort of build more unusual shapes. So if we actually explore this island,
and the shape of the ship, I know that you use or you simulate physics as much as you can. Will the shape of the ship affect its aerodynamic? We
haven't really come to a decision on that.
Yeah.
Whether or not we have a rudimentary kind of aerodynamic sort of system going on. We'll see with that. Now the where you place your parts will actually have an effect, so that's still kind of a physics thing. Here we have almost like a small little, almost like fighter kind of craft. This might be a solo person ship. Quite small, nimble, fuel tanks by the helm, so in case it does blow up, I go down with the ship instantly. But I built this little cockpit here, and I put the instruments, somewhere I could easily access them. I've got the fuel tank off to the left there, so I can see how much fuel I have. And it was always that, that freedom to just jump on a ship at will, let go of it, sort of jump around and. That seamless kind of interaction.
So when there's some more stuff down.
So here we've got almost like a I'm not entirely sure what this is. Some sort of crazy hot rod spaceship thing. Now the paneling and the art on these things is still very much sort of going through sort of development. So they might look a little bit monochrome. And up there we've got like some sort of like ship galleon, sort of more traditional flying ship.
So when you go to take someone else's ship,
yeah,
are there going to be are there any rules governing kind of PvP or anything like that, or could I fly out and someone could just come and take my ship? I mean,
yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean,
someone off
like
the ship
when you're in the open sky, it's going to be pretty obvious when someone's approaching you. So you should be, you know, like it's when you get to an island, that's when the kind of like the danger almost like occurs. You know, you need to be quite wary of who's around, and if you're actually alone. Now we do have like player density stuff, so the likelihood of a player being on every island you visit is actually quite low. But you can see from this ship, we built like a little gangway here, and we've got almost like a classic sort of galleon thing. It sort of looks like it's crashed a little bit, but that's fine. And so, you know, we have little torches, you know, built little sort of rooms in here and stuff like that. And the helm, again, you kind of choose where it goes. So that helm's quite open. You can kind of probably see where you can go. And you might want to build a backup one, like lower down the deck, because if that gets taken out, you're screwed. But you can kind of build your own sort of backup plans there.
Oh, okay.
If I teleport to, again, this is not a feature that you'll actually have in the game. I can just show you a couple more kind of crazier stuff that I was working on. I'm sort of like messing around with the tool. So here is kind of like almost like a donut ship. And I kind of like don't have a middle section there. Under the impression, I guess, that if someone was firing cannonballs, they'd be missing the vast majority of my ship. And again, like the way you kind of build this, because it's completely freeform, when you see this kind of ship approaching, you're going to be like, where's the helm? Where's the cores keeping it afloat? Where's all this stuff? And,
because you're going to be trying to aim for the sensitive.
Exactly, yeah, but you won't quite know where they are because it's not a traditional sort of shape. And that's kind of a big thing, that sort of that variety is basically limitless.
So when you fly this ship, you're going to need people to help you, right? Because
a ship of this size, yeah. And I think we've got, there it is, my favourite ship, which is nicknamed the Chubby Whale.
It does look like a chubby whale.
And it does look like a chubby whale. It's like kind of completely armoured, it's completely encased. It's got the cockpit up there, it's even got little windows for the cannons. The cannons are all like interior.
So even on the smaller ships, if you want to fire a cannon at someone, presumably you need to either leave the helm or have someone else do that.
So there's that option. If you have other players, they can actually manually take over the helms. One thing we're sort of working on feature-wise is like basically almost like a Minecraft kind of redstone system. So you're actually able to like wire up your ships to have. So if you were to wire like a button to a cannon. That then, while it will be stationary, it will then trigger it to fire.
Okay, so you can't aim it, it will just...
So yeah, you wouldn't be able to aim it, but you could, for example, set up a couple of cannons like by your helm, and then at a press of a button, would fire straight out. So you've essentially built your own fighter craft, but sort of using these systems and physics and stuff like that is what we wanted for this like sort of emergent kind of gameplay, you know. This is the Chubby Whale, and you've got some engines that are facing down, so he can climb easier because he's a bit heavy.
And when you log off, obviously your character disappears. What happens to your ships?
So your ships will log off a few minutes afterwards. So you need to kind of make sure you're in a safe space. And because of the size of the world, the likelihood of you not seeing someone as you log off is quite low. We didn't want the game to be super hardcore. I know, like in sort of games of this style, offline raiding is a big thing. Like, you know, you build a base and then you come back on and it's completely destroyed and it's been looted. We didn't want that. And also, this is a base that moves. We actually want you to go out and explore rather than build a base and be like, oh, well, I kind of want to just stay here now because...
Can you build kind of land bases? Is there no kind of...
Like, you can't, but the players have already been discussing like how to do it. So this freeform like hull construction, there's nothing to stop you from building basically what looks like a building. Don't put any cores on it. Or at least put them on there temporarily, drag it over some land, and then just take them off and it'll just plonk there like physics, and it will just sit on an island. We've already had players talking about building their own like floating shanty towns strapped together with harpoon guns and stuff like that. The big thing is this player kind of creativity, basically.
Is there any limit to how much you can build?
Well, we haven't gone through like what the limitations are. Right now, we're pretty open and seeing. That's what the alphas and stuff are for. We're going to see what sort of break when it breaks. So
and how will you know where your stuff is? Is there a can you make your own maps, or is that something that's up to people?
Yeah, so it's very much like a Phantom Hourglass. Now you draw your own map. It's supposed to be like this age of exploration. The storm walls you see, they actually have varying like thicknesses. So the knowledge, if you find an area of the storm that's actually quite thin that you could pass through, if you draw that onto your map, that's valuable knowledge that only you have.
Okay.
And that gives you an easier way of actually like moving around the world.
And the amount of the things that people are trying to find, I mean, are there tangible things? Is there a tangible kind of progression to what people are trying to find out there? Is there a sort of direction people are going, or?
It's basically you're able to like accumulate like knowledge, and it's kind of almost like, I guess part of it is like a power sort of race, but because they're not direct stats, it's almost like what equipment, what kind of stuff can you get to. It's basically just exploring and mapping the world. And we do have a backstory of all these ancient civilizations, what their cultures were, and so you are able to go around and basically like accumulate like these little parts of the story and lore and group those all together, and sort of uncover like secrets and things like that. I think we have like probably like a couple of novels worth of like writings and stuff that you're able to go through and sort of piece together. We've taken a Dark Souls approach where you get like little snippets of things, and it's kind of up to you to kind of be like, oh, okay, like I see the mention of this person quite a lot. I wonder what's their story.
Yeah.
So there's all of that to kind of explore. We have we're trying to cater to a few things in terms of player creativity and that exploration aspect. That's always a big thing. The kind of ships you're going to see, even the islands. So when we mentioned that some of the islands are handcrafted, they're actually, every island you've seen that we've been on are actually player made.
Okay.
So even at an alpha stage of this game, the world is actually built by the players.
So we have the separate thing.
Yeah. So we have a free island creator on Steam, and that is what we've been updating that with new assets, new kind of features and stuff, and that's what every island you see has actually been made with. So for us, that having every island potentially be a handcrafted thing is a big draw for us in terms of like exploration.
Yeah.
Then who knows? Like if this ship was crashed here, you'd come across it, you'd be able to rummage through it, find signs of the previous like occupants and stuff like that, and actually have real storytelling. The big thing we have the history of the world, but from the moment the players start the game, that's when the present day history starts.
Yeah.
And that's when everything you do and cut down and die and leave on these islands will remain. And so players will actually be able to start piecing together like the journeys of people from months ago and stuff, because they'll just be left on these islands.
Yeah.
And that is that's kind of where we're at really. There's quite a lot to take in and stuff. But
that's great. Thank you very much.